Hello everyone, welcome to Rubber Industry NewsHour. We are on episode number 9. Today is the 14th March 2022. Welcome you all for this weekly program for the Rubber Industry NewsHour. Let me give you a quick intro to the what is this NewsHour means. Okay, what kind of information we cover, how it is beneficial to the industry. Of course, we have some new headlines, we have research information, we also cover on the education aspects, business talks, tech talks, other talks, tips and tricks for the process improvement, and also opportunities, whether it is job or business investment opportunities, regulations, market review, and also business profile. We have also panel discussion. So we cover wide range of topics in this Rubber Industry NewsHour, but not all in each episode. Okay, there are some specific topics we address in episode. Okay, so don't expect everything I cover in this today all, but it's basically the overview of the Rubber Industry NewsHour is the content for the. We try to address every aspect of the rubber and tire industries, whether it is a technical, non-technical, regulations, markets, possible business opportunities as well. Okay, that's it. I'd like to thank our partners to supporting this program. Particularly first is Rubber World. Probably most of you know Rubber World is 133 plus years old magazine, prestigious magazine in the rubber industry. You can subscribe for free in digital edition, rubberworld.com. You can, that a lot of technical information is there. Please do subscribe. We also have a Rubber and Tire Digest, which is jointly published by Technobiz and Rubber World. That is also free to subscribe for the digital edition. Please visit rubbertiredigest.com. Okay, of course, we have a Technobiz channel, Rubber Industry Network. We have Facebook group as well as the LinkedIn group. So all these are supporting this program. I thank each one of the partners in this journey. As you know, this program is owned and managed by Technobiz. I'd like to give you some information, what kind of services we offer for the rubber industry. And maybe you may be interested in some of our services, or some of you don't know about Technobiz. Let me show you the short video on the Technobiz and its services for the rubber industry. Okay, that's about the Technobase. I'm hoping that you have an understanding now what is Technobase, what kind of services we offer for the rubber industry. You know how to reach me, so if you need more information Technobase, you can always reach out to me. This is a special request and also invitation to all the participants. If you find this rubber industry news or useful to you, I do encourage you, all of you, to share this information to your industry friends and colleagues and invite them to join this event on every Monday. Okay, so this is actually, we are trying to bring a lot of useful information through the rubber industry news hour. I want to make sure that all the rubber industry fraternity benefit from this news hour program. So please join me and share your hands to encourage your colleagues and friends to follow this program on every Monday. If you are unable to join this time, they can always view this whole record version of the program at the Technobase channel and on YouTube. So please check our Technobase channel on YouTube for the update on the rubber industry news hour. Okay, let's welcome to today's session on the rubber industry news hour, episode number 9. Let me give you quick information to what are the highlights of today's program. I think most of you know the first program we are having is the Rubber Industry Tech Talk. In this program, we're going to discuss on the odor control in rubber and tire industries. This presentation by Mr. Marijn Appelman from Aerox, Netherlands. We have a business talk, rubber industry business talk, focusing on the Indian rubber industry, outlook, opportunities, and challenges. This is basically the conversation with Dr. Savar Dhanania. He is the president of All India Rubber Industries Association. AIRA is a prestigious rubber body in India. Dr. Savar will be sharing his views and the outlook and opportunities and challenges. Then we have a special program, a rubber industry education. As you know, Technobase also offers training programs, but at the same time, I also want to encourage all other education institutions through this program. Basically, education is a key component for the growth of any industry. And I wanted to join hands with all the education institutes through this rubber industry news hour, promote them through our news hour program, what kind of programs they have. Today in this program, we have alumni of that institute, the Government Polytechnic in Mumbai. He'll be talking about his experience on the Rubber Technology Diploma program at the Government Polytechnic Mumbai. So these are the 3 programs today, and also, of course, you have a commercial section of this Rubber Industry News Hour, which is basically the company sponsor. They promote their products and services. We have 2 types of programs. One is a business profile, other one is a buyer guide. We'll be showing various companies and their products and services under this section. So that's about the content of the rubber industry business, rubber industry news hour today. Okay, let's get to today's the first session is on the rubber industry tech talk. For this, as I mentioned to you, this is a special talk on odor control. I think if you are from the rubber or tire industry, odor is one of the problems we experience in both the rubber and tire industries. We have Mr. Marijn Appelman. He is actually works for the sales of the Aerox, based in Netherlands. He born in Netherlands. He also actually, his background is from the initial, he worked in the rubber industry in the beginning, and after that, for the last 10 years, he working for the Aerox. He's a specialist, experience in the olfactory, including laboratory management, olfactometry, sample analysis, and also very special in how he is very experienced in industrial odor control. So it would be a good opportunity for all of us to learn from Mr. Marijn Appelman about the odor control, how to solve odor problems in the rubber and tire industries. May I invite Mr. Marijn, please come forward. Hi there, let me actually share the screen.
Hello there, and welcome to the rubber industry tech talk about odor control. That is my subject. My name is Marijn Appelman, and I will share my knowledge on odor removal in the rubber entire industry. So I will discuss a few subjects, which you can see here. But first, I will start a little bit about the company profile of Aerox. So who is Aerox? Aerox is a company that is specialized in odor control for many years already. We are founded in the early 70s, and we had then a development of scrubbers and dust filters. After some time, a lot of people started working on using scrubbers, and also a lot of new companies developing scrubbers. Then we started producing a new type of odor control, which was widely used, and that is the system cold plasma. So actually Aerox is the inventor of the cold plasma system. And by now we have more than 250 of Aerox injectors installed worldwide, of which more than 50 in the rubber industry. A very important part of our product is that we are recognized as a best available technique, and that is that it is for companies quite easy to choose for the type of cold plasma technique, and then the environmental government, so the legislation, it will be automatically recognized as a good technique. So first I will tell something about odor control in general, and at this moment specifically about the Aerox injector. I will now show a movie, and after that I will explain how our system works. So what you just saw in the movie was that we create oxygen radicals. We have cold plasma units. You can see the cold plasma units in the left picture, on the top left picture. There's a high voltage on with which we create the plasma, and by blowing air through those plasma modules, we create oxygen radicals. You see in the middle picture, our system is connected to a process duct through which for example, the exhaust air from a curing department is emitted to outside, to the ambient air outside. You can see on the right side of the picture that we inject the oxygen radicals into the process duct by using a special adapter, and the particles that we inject into the process duct, they react with the odorous particles. The odorous particles are organic molecules, and they are partly oxidized by the particles that we inject. And therefore, because of this partly oxidation, we break the molecules into less odorous molecules, so that finally the smell is well, maybe 70, 80, or sometimes even 90% reduced. What is very typical in the rubber industry is that we change the way that the smell comes out of the chimney. So first you have a rubber smell from the process, but when we have treated the air, there's still a certain smell, but the typical rubber smell is gone. And this is quite important for a lot of rubber factories. So the Aerox injector can treat several types of air, several odor concentration, and also several amounts of air. So you can see that we can treat from about 5,000 cubic meters per hour up to 200,000 cubic meters per hour. How do we determine how much capacity we need? Because this is quite important, whether you need a small Aerox injector, small capacity, or a large Aerox injector. We can determine this by doing two types of tests. The first is a suitcase test. This is quite a small test, and this is more indicative. The second one, that is an official pilot test. So this is what we do often when clients are really interested in a system and also want to know exactly how much odor reduction can be achieved with their process. And we do such an official pilot test in many cases. And this is, maybe you would say, okay, for the tire production, every plant is approximately the same. But of course, you can have a lot of different ingredients, and all those ingredients, and every tire producer has its own recipe. So all these ingredients have an influence on the odor and also on the components that cause the odor. And this is why it's very important that we do a pilot test on every exhaust or for every specific client. So we know how much capacity is needed. The client knows how much odor reduction or how much odor removal he can expect. So this is quite a small test. We can ship this test all over the world. Besides this test, you need to have a laboratory who can perform odor measurements. This is normally done independently for us, so it is really an independent test. So having done such a test, you can, for example, in this case, we have tested on 3 different capacities, and then you get such a typical graph. So for example, the lowest setting, we achieved an odor reduction of 60%. The second one, the medium capacity, we achieved a reduction of 90%. And on the highest capacity, we even achieved a reduction of 95%. So this is a typical graph. In some cases, clients are already satisfied with 60% odor reduction because this is enough to take away complaints from neighbors, or it could be enough to comply to legislation that they have from an environmental protection body. So this is quite a specific detail which you can see that odor consultancy companies produce. So they put all the results of a test or of an official measurement. They can introduce this into a calculation model, and they can calculate odor contours from a company. Well, in this specific case, we achieved an odor reduction of 75%. So you can see without the Aerox injector that the air could be smelled quite widely around the company. And in the second one, there was only a small odor contour left. Aerox is present in several industries. You can see the industries here. The rubber industry is getting more and more interesting for us because yeah, at this moment it is really a growing market. Due to Corona, we also saw that pet food, because many people also bought a pet during Corona. So also pet food companies are increasing at this moment. But yeah, rubber is increasing for quite some years now. So some key facts about the rubber industry. We had a first unit installed in 2006, and since then we installed about, well, at least more than 50 units in the rubber tire industry. The processes that where we can achieve an odor reduction, or that are relevant, better to speak, for odor reduction are the mixing process, the batch off, and the curing process. So the mixing process, that is the air coming from a mixer is only process air. So therefore, the mixing chamber is of course not very big, and also to don't extract too much heat from the process, you only want to extract a little amount of air from the mixer. So a typical flow rate, what we see from a mixer that we treat, is about 5,000 to 30,000 cubic meters per hour. But since you add the ingredients, the natural rubber, synthetic rubber, and all kinds of specific ingredients, and the first reactions take place there, so a lot of odor is coming from this process. So you have a high odor concentration here. So with one of our systems, with one Aerox injector, we can treat a maximum of about 40,000 cubic meters per hour of exhaust air. Then the second part of the process, which is relevant for odor control, sometimes it is combined, since this is quite, the batch off is close to the mixing, of course. Sometimes the exhaust air is combined with the mixing, but in many cases it is also separate. So here we see a typical flow rate of about 20,000 to sometimes 150,000 cubic meters per hour. This is because in many cases there's a hood over the batch off process, and so it is not only process air but also some ambient air from the hole, which is extracted and vented outside. So therefore you have a medium volume flow rate and also a medium odor concentration. It is not as high as it is from the mixing process. So here you see a typical picture of a Aerox injector treating the air from the batch off process. So, and we are treating here about 100,000 cubic meters per hour. you see it is quite a small system to treat a big amount of air. Then the last one, the curing process. This is again completely different than the mixing process. We have here a low odor concentration, and that is because the mixing or the curing process is taking place in a hall. And when the presses open, you can see also on the pictures, the fumes from the tires, they in many cases just come into the hall. And the hall of where the curing process is extracted to keep the climate in the factory okay for the employees. But because the halls are in many cases quite big, you have a high volume flow rate. So sometimes it can be from 100,000 even up to 300,000 cubic meters per hour. So here you see on the left picture, you can see the red circle, and in this factory, if you look back on the picture, you see maybe 10 or even more of these extraction points, extracting the fumes from the curing department. So in this specific tire factory, 18 of the Aerox injectors are treating each one 8,000 to 180,000 cubic meters of exhaust air coming from the curing lines. Each unit has a different capacity, of course. This is a typical picture of a combined exhaust air. So here the tire producer has made a central extraction point and is extracting in total 400,000 cubic meters of air coming from the curing department in two separate lines. So each 200,000, 220,000 cubic meters of exhaust air is treated by one Aerox injector. So the clients that we have in the rubber tire industry, it is mostly rubber tire, but also, for example, in the belt production. But clients we have are the Continental, Nexen, Bridgestone, Mitas, and Nokia. So here you can see some typical results that we achieve from the mixing process. So you see sometimes we achieve about 60–65% up to 97%. And then you can also see that in the middle column in odor units per cubic meter, you can see that especially at high concentrations, which is quite typical for the mixing process, so 20, 40,000, 50,000, we achieve a high odor reduction. And yeah, that is quite typical for our system. So with low concentrations, for example, the first one of about 1,200 odor units, then it's more difficult to achieve a high odor reduction. But even in that case, we can achieve a reduction of more than 60%. So then some examples for the curing. So you see also here a variation between 60 and 80%. The first one that was not a really rubber press, but this was the mold cleaning. So there was used a different substance. So this is not a really relevant measurement. And in other types, you see that there is a specific difference in odor concentration. So at the mixing, we had odor concentration of 10, maybe 10 to 40,000. And here you see it's maximum 1,300 odor units. So those concentrations are typical for the curing department. So some typical advantages of the cold plasma Aerox injector. So what is important specifically for the tire industry is that we have the injection principle. So the air is not going through our system because sometimes in the tire industry there's a lot of particles, a lot of dust in the process air, which can clog into existing filters or whatever. With the Aerox injector, our system cannot be, will not get dirty because we inject the radicals into the process duct. So it is also quite an environmental friendly product. We don't use gas, it is only electricity that we use. We also don't have any waste. We can treat big volumes, so up to 220,000 cubic meters per hour. This is of course quite interesting. And we have quite an efficient way of customer care by having a remote performance control, so we can proactively think with the client on servicing of the unit, or we can have a look when there are possible problems, so we can immediately act on this. So this was my my presentation about odor reduction, and I hope this was interesting.
Thank you, Mirain. It's a very interesting presentation. I think you address real issues about the, particularly in the rubber industry. The mixing area is more troublesome. I have a few questions to ask you for the sake of all audience and also industry point of view. First thing is always, you're talking to Asian countries. There are two things they always look at this. Of course, as you know, the legislation is not that stringent. Sometimes they don't know what is the parameter to measure the odor control, what is the thing. And the second is that what is the investment cost in there. Can you talk about the cost information about installing, particularly in the mixing area, which is, I think, that major smell producing section in the entire industry?
Yeah. We also have some units in Asia. We have units in Thailand and in China. Legislation is, for example, in China quite strict. So a lot of not only tire companies but all kinds of companies have to comply to very strict regulations. I think comparable to what is in Europe and some other countries. For the mixing industry, depending on the volume flow rate that you need to treat, and of course also the odor concentration and how much odor reduction you need to achieve. So sometimes you only need to achieve 50% to comply to legislation. That will be enough, and sometimes you really have to go higher. But on average, I think the investment costs are about 160,000 euros. for a unit.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So how about, you rightly mentioned about you have a lot of particles in particular in the mixing area, and it may affect the filters. What kind of maintenance issues are there to keep this your unit to run for a long time, or so?
Yeah, to avoid problems with our unit, we have a pre-filter. So we filter the air before it enters our system. And those filters, this is quite a simple and basic filter system. Those filters can also be purchased locally. So it is quite easy for clients to purchase those filters, and also it is very easy to replace those filters. It is no need, there's no need from Aerox to go there and replace those filters. So that's quite simple. And then the air is clean. It's by the filters, and then it is going to the plasma modules, and there we create the oxygen radicals, which are then injected in the process duct, of course. So and our equipment is not in contact with the process air, and therefore there's no risk of contamination of our system.
And you mentioned you have done a couple of projects of course, in China and in Thailand. What kind of problems or challenges you experience in implementing the projects in Asia?
Yeah, in many cases it is quite challenging, for example, in China to achieve enough odor reduction, because it is very strict, the odor regulations. And what we also see is we are dealing with multinationals, so they also have a certain standard. So the major tire companies, they have a certain standard, and they want to implement this worldwide. And therefore, in some cases, it doesn't really matter in which country you are and which odor legislation there is, because, for example, I will not say any names, but a certain producer just wants to have a standard for every factory, wants to treat the odors just in Thailand as good as they do it in Europe or in America. So, and that is, I think, quite good that those companies will not only act on the legislation, but want to have a worldwide standard on this.
So you are specialist in the odor control. Which country has a stringent legislation on odor around the world?
Yeah, I think it is. It varies a little, because in Western Europe, and especially in the Netherlands, it all started, and from the Netherlands it spread to other Western European countries, and some of the countries they have taken a more pragmatic approach, of which I think is quite good. So they don't only look at emission, but they listen more to the people around the plants. So if there are no complaints, then it's okay. And I think this is a very good, pragmatic approach. But I think at this moment, China is one of the countries with the highest or the most strict regulations. It is good to see that there's a lot a lot of groups are formed at this moment. I am also going to Latin America sometimes, and especially in some countries already in Latin America, they have also introduced odor legislation, and it is going like an oil piece all over the world, and that is good to see.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of development there.
It's also, what about the calibration of your equipment? Is it easy to calibrate? With the indicator, it's not like, ppm or solid particles to measure. It's olfactory is a different ball game, as I understand. So how is the calibration of your equipment, whether it is showing the right smell or odor or not?
Yeah, that is difficult. So our first calibration is with the pilot test. So with the first test, we can say, okay, this is if we have this capacity, then we will achieve this odor reduction. But of course, the clients, they also have different types of ingredients, different types of products. Sometimes they produce passenger tires, then motor tires, So there will be differences. And if you want to make a good calibration or more validation, you can do odor concentration measurements during the production of several tests. And also the equipment can be turned in stepless settings up and down. So you can quite easily adjust the amount of radicals that will be injected into the process duct. This is something that we have developed last year. So if you know that you are producing a product which contains or which emits less odor, you can tune the unit down. And the advantage is that you also consume less energy. So this has a direct influence. But it is very difficult because you have to do odor measurements, and odor measurements, you have to do it with your nose, olfactometry. It needs a panel, so you don't have direct results. So it is that is a little bit well, it's not very simple. You don't see a direct results by, oh, I tune it down. What is the result? I tune it up. It takes a couple of hours before you can see the result.
And also that these odor problem, or we call a foul smell problem, is a lot to do with the perception of the persons. Each person is a different way of their sensitiveness, and particularly when people, companies, neighborhood, the problem is always a neighborhood complaints about the smell problems. Okay, then the way they see it as a smell, the way you as a measurement is a different thing, right? Because the perception sensitiveness of the people, and also weather conditions. When you have cold weather, whether it's rainy time, you feel a lot of smell, okay? And when it is hot weather, you don't see much smell. So there are many conditions, so in dealing with this, it's a very challenging task, as you think. Is it right? Yeah.
Yes, that's absolutely correct, and it is also correct that in the first part that COVID came here in West Europe, it was just before summer, 2 years ago in March, and so a lot of people had to stay home at that time. And but it was beautiful weather, so people were sitting outside in their garden. And what we saw was that there was an enormous increase in complaints, odor complaints, because the people didn't go to work and sat in their offices, but they sat at home with the window open or in the garden, smelling the factories. And so that was also a problem in that time. Yeah, no, that is that's absolutely correct.
And you have a solutions for the, I think it is, see, what are the solutions? What you present is indoor, like in a one source point, one point, in particular point of source. But if there's outdoor order problems, or do you have solutions as well? Only the in point of source only.
No, it is only point source. Yeah. So if you, for example, have an open pile of garbage or whatever, then that is not something that we can treat. We really need to treat the odors coming from a process and which is in a duct. Yeah, which is yeah.
So thank you very much, Narain. It's very interesting. It's interesting talk to learn about how to control the odor, particularly the mixing, curing, batch of places. I think it's very useful. If somebody wanted to take your service, Aerox, do you have an office in other parts of the world, or only in Netherlands? How do you service?
We have an office in the Netherlands, and but we also have partners in Asia, Latin America, all over the world actually. So they can always contact us or via our partners locally.
Sure. Narain, thanks a lot. Appreciate the time and a really interesting presentation. I look forward to seeing you some other time. Thanks a lot. Appreciate that.
Thank you very much.
Okay, that's the end of the presentation and discussion on the odor control in rubber and tire industries. We learned some technology as well as the challenges involved with odor control in rubber and tire industries. Let me show you the next part of the session is rubber industry business profile. As you know, this is a commercial part of the rubber industry NewsHour. In this section, I'll be introducing a company and their profile and products. Okay. Today I'm going to introduce to you the company TechnoVaxChem and also Rasha Chemicals, a group. This is an ISO 9001 certified company. They are recognized as a one-stop outlet for specialty rubber chemicals. Okay. Let's have a look at their profile. There's a short video on their products and services. Please allow me to show the video on that. Okay, that's about the Technovax profile. If you're interested in their service and products, you can always reach out to them as a one-stop outlet for the specialty rubber chemicals. So let's look at the rubber industry buyer guide. Rubber industry buyer guide is basically a short version of the various companies and their products and services. I also show you the short video on this rubber industry buyer guide. Okay, that's about the rubber industry buyer guide. If you need their services of various companies shown here, please do contact them. So now we're going to the next part of the program, that is the rubber industry business talk. Rubber industry business talk is basically focusing on various business aspects of the rubber industry. Today we have a business talk session with Dr. Savar Dhanania. I think most of you know very well. He is the president of All India Rubber Industries Association. He is also chairman of the Rubber Board of India as well. Well-known, well-experienced rubber industry business person. And we will be discussing with him about the Indian rubber industry, outlook, opportunities, and challenges. Please stay on. Hello, welcome to the Rubber Industry Business Talk. Today we have a guest, Dr. Savar Dhanania. He is the president of All India Rubber Industries Association. Dr. Dhanania, welcome to the program. Thank you for accepting our invitation, having a talk for this Rubber Industry NewsHour program.
Thank you.
So thank you very much. So let's dive into our discussion today on the various aspects of the Indian rubber industry. Before we get into details, you are a well-known person in the Indian rubber industry, and I want to know some story about you before getting the Indian rubber industry itself. How did you get into the rubber industry? Can you talk about your journey of the rubber industry and how many years you were there in the rubber industry? And so, please. Yeah.
My father started rubber business, rubber industry in the year 1942. So I am in the rubber industry since last 50 years. When I was a school-going boy or a student, since then on Sunday or any vacation during my summer vacation, I used to go with my father to the industry. At the time, I was not allowed to go independently to the workshop or the workplace. All the time, somebody, father escorted me, through someone that you go there, you should not, you being opting for the engineering show, you should not go and start for the machines or looking very closely or seeing the operation. You must be looking from the distance. So it is that mostly on Sundays or on holidays, I used to go to the rubber factories and I liked very much. And going to the section of the chemical where everything is stored, and then going to the finished goods go down where everything is finished and their dispatches are there. So it was very interesting for me. Since then, it is in the 60s, I should say. And after my graduation, my father was waiting that since all the time he was appointing engineers or the rubber chemical people to the factory. So he has in his mind that one day my son will come in the industry with his background as an engineer. So he will be happy and he will have a own man. It was also told to him by all other people that when your son is coming for the, so after my graduation, though I got an appointment as a professor or in America, but my family or my father requested me, all right, I allowed you to study to the up to the post-graduation level in the product engineering, but you have to come to the rubber industry. So I joined rather voluntarily, interestingly, obeying the parents' desire. So,
right. Yeah, and you also you're specialized in the bicycle tires. You are one of the innovators in the brand. Yeah, yeah.
So our factory had it was a very vast factory having all type of products.
Okay.
We can see, extruded products. It is a molded products. It's a metal bonded. It is calendared products. It is hand built products. So all type of products were there. Bicycle tires or that, it was a later stage when I thought to just the industry got shrink. So, then I want to make some tires. In fact, we were also to go for the automotive tires. My father purchased a vast land in Madhya Pradesh, more than 100 acres, to go for the auto tires with the ventures or the collaboration with the Russia at that time in the 70s. But that could not come, due to so many wars and so many other constraints that could not come. So their father started the cycle tire manufacturing, cycle tire and tube. So from auto tires, when we could not make it, so we went to these cycle tires and the ADB tires, animal-driven vehicle tires,
Oh, okay.
Those tires we also made, and we also made tires for the scooters.
Okay.
For the scooties, not these two-wheelers, and not these bikes, but for the scooters.
Yeah, yeah, Bajaj. Yeah.
Bajaj. Kind of, at that time, Vespa.
Vespa, right, Vespa.
Yeah. That scooter was there.
Right,
so then gradually after joining the rubber industry, then all people asked me and also telling father that he should also come to the rubber association. So after my joining the rubber industry, after say 15 years, sometimes in 90s, early 90s, then I joined the rubber association.
I see. And your company still producing the products, or what is current situation over here?
Cycle tires and tubes. Okay, or the rickshaw tires. In the name of the
and how many employees and how many employees are working in your company now?
So that is on the job work basis. Employees, about 60 employees are there, but and they have been working. But we could not go for the to sell to the cycle manufacturers.
Okay.
That is more in the replacement market, you know.
Oh, I see. I see.
Throughout Bengal, we have a very vast chain of the dealers.
It's you are into the more on the replacement market, not on the
Yes.
OEMs per se. Yeah. So.
And our rickshaw tubes were very famous and very acceptable in the market.
I see.
Because that was also giving a better price, and there was a little more weight was there, and it was that was better accepted.
And I know that you graduated PhD. You did a PhD pretty late. Huh? What was your motivation? Yeah.
And that was another story, you know, because
Yeah.
after my post graduation from Jadavpur, I submitted my application or my just synopsis for the PhD work there. But at that time, family pressure was that now enough. Now you must come. If you must do the PhD, people started telling him that then he will go for the academics or for the research. He will not come to the industry. So rather to say, I was rather told not to go for PhD. That was in the year 80, 79, 80, like that.
Right.
But you know, after our one exhibition, international exhibition, Rubber Association, we held in West Bengal in Kolkata, and I was the chief convener. So at the time, I came in with the interaction with the IIT professors, Professor Anil Bhaumik, Professor Khastigir, Professor Chaki, Professor Namdo. So all of them, they came here to Calcutta. They used to come for meetings and all the. So when in 2009, when that exhibition and the international conference were held, so again the urge came into my mind, you know, that you know it is better. Now I'm talking with them, and they are all doctorates, all research, and I could not do it. So actually, what happened? I was a chief guest in IIT Kharagpur on a research scholar day.
Yeah.
So there I spoke my mind that you know I wanted to do PhD, and still my daughters, they are in London, and they asked me, and one daughter is in Switzerland, ki, Dad, you have got in your mind that you want to do PhD, that is in your heart and brain, which you could not do. So please you come here to London, at least to finish your job for 2 years or 3 years time it takes, and you come here. So at that time when I spoke about this, the director, he was sitting, he was also there as a head of the institute, you know. Then he told that, do you still want to do? And I, yes, I'll go. Then the ball started rolling, you know, and I could do PhD from IIT Kharagpur, my doctorate.
Fantastic, fantastic. I mean, probably you are the oldest rubber technologist who got who got a PhD, I guess, you know.
And that from IIT, you know, Rubber Technology Center, which is I love that is a reputed center at the institute.
See that I think that many of the people, like young people, also they have pressures from the parents, you know, get a job, you know, they didn't have a time to go for, you know, when you do the PhD, you have at least 4 or 5 years, you need to committed time is there. You know, I think you are inspiration to many experienced people to complete their PhD if they like to do, you know, in the later years also. Fantastic. Yeah.
And that was also the additional source of rubber, because at the time the rubber price was very high. Very high, about 250 rupees. And the members were telling, sir, do something. What can I do? This oil price is high. This is the synthetic rubber is high. I can't. No, you can do something. Then I searched the Google that what is the additional. So I came to know about the Wiley rubber. So I searched and I discussed with them, and I did my work in that also. So to that extent, I am satisfied. That
so you finish unfinished job that's supposed to be your urge has been there and finished. Yeah. That's fantastic. So let's go into the, you know, and get into the rubber industry, Indian rubber industry. Congratulate you. You are currently the new president of Indian Rubber Industries Association. And also you are holding another cap of chairman of Indian Rubber Board of India as well. So I'm probably you are so busy with a lot of issues concerning the Indian rubber industry. Yeah, is it right?
Yeah, that is there. But it's a privilege, you know. I should take, you know, like that, you know, at least something, whatever I have gathered from my education, from the institute, or by interaction with the people, if something can be delivered to the industry, so that will also satisfy me.
That's nice. That's nice. It's a pleasure, it's pleasure to have you on in this program. With a lot of responsibility, which is the contribution will be significant, benefit the all the rubber industries, particularly the SMEs or medium scale and the companies as well. I want to get into the war, Russia war on Ukraine, and how do you see the impact of this? The tragic things happening, and of course, the business got interrupted, logistics was interrupted, and probably the raw material oil price is increasing. So, how do you see the impact of this war on the Indian rubber industry?
Because firstly, we were importing butyl rubber from Russia, and that was to the tune of 150,000 tons. But thanks to Reliance Industries or to their earlier, they could make a plant Cebu with them, Cebu plant in Gujarat. So to some extent, we have overcome that difficulty. So still there is some difficulty, but also the government made one FTA with the Singapore for the import of the butyl rubber. So the major problem that is being resolved, we are not to face. Had we would not have come with the butyl rubber plant, we would have faced a lot of problem because that is needed for the auto tubes and like that. Number two, for this port restrictions or the port logistic issues, then if the freight charges or we don't get the ships or we don't get the containers, so those problems we are facing since a long time. If that is going to be worsened, so we have to face. And increase in the oil prices, that may lead to also some hike in the synthetic rubber prices. So then that will also come to the increase in the price of the natural rubber. So the growers will be benefited. So when I am having a double, so I am happy, when they will be getting a good price, growers will be getting better price for the natural rubber. So that is a good, and they may also come for more plantation. They may be eager that we are getting this one. So whatever not being tapped, so that let us bring it to tapping, and they can also invest something for the processing if they get something in their hand. So though there is no much raw material we are looking for from Russia or the Ukraine, that was the butyl rubber for which we are already covered, and other issues from a war like when Russia is engaged there. So those fallouts will definitely giving some impact on the economy, and ultimately that trickles down to the every sector of the economy.
Yeah.
So that will be facing, but not directly. We are very much affected as yet.
Yeah, let's hope that this war ends quickly, so that the lives and properties, so much losses of lives and.
The fallout will continue. This war may end, but it is not that from the next day the impact will be over. I don't think so like that. But certainly the rest of the world or India, they are also very much sensitive for the oil prices do not increase. So for that, even during the war, they are working on that. So the things which are not beyond our control, we have to manage our house.
So, you are actually based out of the Calcutta. I think a lot of development is happening. Indian rubber industry, particularly talking about natural rubber. You're more on the south in the past, and now it is expanding in eastern part of India. And what is happening? What are the latest developments in terms of the plantation side as well as the industry growths in eastern part of India?
No, this is for the plantation. About more than 1 year before ago, our honorable Minister of Commerce he took the initiative, and some of the tire manufacturers, they came to some sort of agreement with the rubber board, some collaborative approach, so that they will be investing about 1,000 crores of rupees for bringing up 2 lakh hectare plantations in Northeast. So we are working on that. But that happened during the COVID period, so we could not do much work. But now we are very serious about it, and we are planning, how early we can bring up that plantation in the northeastern part of the country. So on that we are working. Also, we are thinking, and we are taking the necessary steps for good processing, better quality, and Rubber Board has launched certain other e-platforms so that the growers get the better price. So when they start getting good price or the market price, and they are not away from their realization, is not much away from the market price, so then they will be interested, and others will be also more interested in tapping or the investment or the plantation. So we are working on that, and also some skill development is also going on, so that we can mitigate the requirement of the tappers, so that there is no shortage of tappers. We are also serious about that. So whatever required for the plantation sector, we are concerned about that. That is in our knowledge, and we are working on it.
How about the industries? What kind of industries are coming into the eastern part of India?
Eastern part of the India industry are not taking very that initiative, or that we are not seeing that future here. Because earlier the industry were, particularly in Kolkata, the industry were there only for the footwear, which are now totally the scenario has changed, and the total footwear activity, those have been transferred, or those have been taken away by the northern India mainly, and Delhi, in Noida, in Delhi, or in some parts of Haryana, or some parts of UP, that has gone there. We don't have any big auto tire plant here. Though we started the eastern portion, eastern region, we had the first plant of this Dunlop tire that was here.
Yes,
also to make the aero tires, aeroplane tires. Though their requirement was less, that was there. And we have one or two this conveyor belting units are also there. Some molded products units are there, but no auto industry is here, no auto tire manufacturing industry is here. So we are little compressed situation, So our manufacturers, they are not getting very much energized, to produce. So they go from here, they go from one of the auto rubber products manufacturer. He went to Pune and wanted to start a factory there, but also he could not be successful there. Again, he's thinking to run his old factory here. So now we are thinking, when the plantation is coming, and we are also talking with the government of Assam, government of Tripura, then we are having a lot of rubber here. So how the rubber products manufacturing can be taken here. For that we have got certain plans, and we are working on that. So
I think there is the projects like the parks, right? Rubber parks, or like cluster of industries together with a lot of this.
We started long back, 2003. We started that project, but to get the land and then to make the all the facilities, those work were done. But since land issue, you can understand that killed a lot of time, and the escalation cost was there. Though the government of India, they helped, the state government helped, but that could not take the we could not start work there. Though we are fortunate that the no rubber industry came in that rubber park, but one rubber testing by efforts of the IRMRA that has come, and they are doing good. Rubber testing is being done, but there is no rubber industry. This is another more surprising. And the industry, which is say 10 kilometers, 20 kilometers, 30 kilometers, 40 kilometers away from that particular rubber testing facility, they are sending their products to be tested in that lab that run by the IRMRA. So we hope that one day that will also come. We are working on that also.
I think that is also will help the drive the more industries coming in. If you have the So in your point of view, what else policies that you think government should to be changed or to be added to for the growth of the rubber industry, not just one part, whole India?
So that is the first was the inverted duty structure. We're talking. Some of the raw materials which are being imported, some duties are imposed on that, and the finished products which are being imported, they are not having less duty, reduced duty, or some minor duties are there. So that type of, when the raw material is costly and finished products is cheaper, so definitely the manufacturers suffer. They hesitate, or when they bring, so that is not cost competitive, they are not having the level playing field. And apart from that, there are certain special purpose rubbers which are not at all manufactured in the country. which are largely or the mostly of the 100% they are being imported from the other countries, earlier from the China or from the Europe or like that. So we have made a approach to the government that some inverted duty structure steps should be taken to rationalize it and to remove the anomalies, and also you should work so that the special purpose rubber they can be started manufacturing in the country. And sometimes we also face some problems from the FTAs, free trade agreements. There were also like that, that if we export to certain country, they impose higher duty on the rubber products, but we import from those countries, so there is a less duty. So it was all the time, it was a disadvantages for the MSME manufacturers. So we are working on that, and recently one FTA came. May not be a very high value FTA for the rubber industry, but still the process has started that with the UAE, and there the the duty by the UAE has been reduced on the rubber products from India. So that will give a fillip to the exporters.
Particularly the Middle East market.
Middle East market. So similarly, now we are keeping a watch and we are vigilant about what the Ministry of Commerce, they are talking about the FTAs. We are talking about some agreements with the countries. Now they are coming with the Australia, coming with the UK, UA, Canada, and Japan. So and also Saudi Arabia. So we are making a list and we are keeping a watch on that. That immediately when we get the information, some talks are going on there. So we are making our searches, we are making our research, and we are trying to bring to the notice of the government. And since the government is sensitive towards the MSM industry and to increase the exports, I think we'll be getting a positive response from them.
And if you probably heard about this a lot nowadays. Everybody talks about it. It's electric vehicles. Okay, it's a two-wheelers has been there. I think there's a huge potential there. But if it comes to the four-wheelers, I think that is a major impact onto the rubber industry. Whatever the components would change. How do you see in EVs, four-wheelers, okay, in India? What is your opinion about it?
To understand the impact, recently last month, in the month of February, I think that was 13th or 14th February, we made a visit to Automotive Research Association of India, Pune. When we came to know that it is there, Auto Cluster, we also visited in Pune. They are not very much working on the EV, and where we visited to the Automotive Research Association of India, Pune, to understand that how they are going to for this transforming this EV vehicles and how the rubber products will be impacted. So first, what we got in the first view, that is they are going to be much impacted by the mixing of ethanol with the petrol. So there is a flexi fuels impact on the fuel pipes that is little more considerable, and that is to be considered rather than this EV vehicle. So still they have got what we could understand that for the automotive auto industry or the four-wheelers, the passenger or the commercial, still there's some time. But since the government is very much eager that the percentage of the ethanol should be blending with the petrol, that should be enhanced for the sake of the farmers, for the sake of the country, or the cane growers, and also to reduce our spending or the outflow on the foreign exchange by importing less of the fuel. So that impact is going to come on the fuel pipes on for the vehicles or otherwise. So that we have started discussion with them, and also we'll be discussing over the members. So they should focus on this, and again we'll visit and we'll discuss with them that how other EV vehicles impact. That will be there. So we are in touch with the automotive research associations of the country, like ICAT or ARAI in Pune, ICAT in the Manesar, and also we'll be visiting. I will be visiting also in Chennai. Is also one institute is also there. So we are seized of the problem, and we are not letting it go without our interference or without our working on it.
Yeah. Okay, good. And we go into other segment is, if every country looks for the foreign investment, okay, and what areas that foreigners can invest in India, particularly with reference to the rubber industry, in which area, what are the potential there?
Potential first raw material supply chain, there is a lot of scope is there, and especially I just talked with you about the special purpose rubbers for the EVA, EPDM, nitrile, chloroprene, this what is a neoprene, fluoro. These are all the rubbers, Earlier the companies were telling that the consumption is less here, so we cannot make it, and we have to go to the other. And I think all were attracted to the China. And from there they started exporting to us also, though we also some importing from UAE also. So we are thinking and we are planning and to meet the ministry and to attract their attention that these raw materials, they should be started manufacturing here, because we are not having any control on the prices of that, since we are not manufacturing here. No price control is there, no duty control is there. Whatever the price they ask, our industry has to pay. And we have faced the inverted duty, so we are in a very discomfort position. It is a disadvantage competition is there. So that is the area is there. And for other products like or tire industry, for that our tire manufacturers or the Atma members or other than the Atma members, they are very much concerned about that, and they are importing whatever the machinery, whatever the technology, and how to import it. So larger share now they are dealing with the rubber sector, so which they are working. For the MSME, we are more concerned about this, and some other units to come. Those are already have come in the synthetic rubber or some fluoro rubbers or some small scale. That is on the raw material side. We are not for the MSME. We are not getting anything like for the foreign investment. Foreign investment that we should come, that is on the supply chain.
Okay. And how is the overall performance of the MSMEs in India when compared with other parts of the world? Are they doing all right? And what's like?
I find that the ecosystem of the rubber for MSME sector, that is to be strengthened. By saying that, I mean that the supply chain that has to be strengthened, that has to be more favor of the MSME industry. That is not there. They are not getting the raw materials. They are not getting the raw material supplies. They are getting the supplies as per the sweet wills of the suppliers. So we want to make that strong. Testing facilities, though the testing labs are there in the country, some government labs are there, some private labs are there, some industry they are having their own system of labs. But that is also not adequate. All the MSME manufacturers, wherever they want to test their products, they are unable to test because they cannot hire, they can purchase the machines, but they cannot hire a testing man, they cannot hire a rubber technologist. So they are facing the difficulty. So that difficulty we are facing. For the export, rather our manufacturers, they are also not very much aware to what to export and where to export. The industry or the units which are in the business, they do know only. They can expand their business. But there are other manufacturers who want to come into the business. So our association is now thinking we are hiring some rubber technologists also. So the men from the industry, men from the domain knowledge, if they are there, so they can also assist the association, and the association can also outreach with the manufacturers that here you can get the facility, here you can export, here you can whatever you can import this thing. So this type of facilities we are trying to make, and we are working on that. So what I say, the ecosystem for the manufacturing for the rubber sector, it is weak, and for which the MSME is suffering. Skill development. We made a national occupational standards. Number of national occupational standards have been made by a great job has been done by RSDC or now RSPC DC. But we are lagging some training providers. How the training providers can come and how the industries where they are located, so they can get the skilled people. That is also there. So this type of all whatever the research work is being done, but how that can be transferred or that knowledge can be used by the MSME people, MSME manufacturers to make the use of that research work, that knowledge. and they can produce the work like their products like that. So this is the total ecosystem is, I should say, that is weak. So we are trying to strengthen that ecosystem. Rubber Association will work on it. So they, whatever the anybody who is working, any unit is working in the rubber industry, if he wants to get any information or anything, get the availability of that, so he can do it. For that, Rubber Association has also started on portal e-rubber.in. That will be also coming come to the knowledge of all, because in our next meeting, after the next meeting, we'll be discussing. So we'll be coming. So if anybody goes into the e-rubber.in portal, so his some of the informations or some of the problems, he'll be able to get some redressal. So that is we are trying.
So let's hope for the good days come for the MSMEs. Yeah, so
Yes, definitely. Those are to come. Government also wants that that is the backbone of the economy, backbone of the manufacturers.
right.
So MSME, they are to be supported, and for that we are working. Our association is particularly or especially for them, and so we are working, and we think some good efforts will be also there, and the members will be benefited. Members or anybody from the rubber sector, they will be benefited.
And there is actually, I think you also very actively involved in the project. IIT Kharagpur, they had some kind of product development and a new investment or building, right? In IIT Kharagpur, if you want to develop a nano. Yeah.
That is one project is coming as the Sathi project, that is there. Synchronized Analytical Technical Health Institute. That is, they are coming also for the industry. They are the only testing or some type of consultancy may be there to help the industry of the region. So that project is coming. I am also associated with that project. And Professor Ravi Bruto Mukhopadhyay, he is the chairman for that project. A small board of governors are there. Some members are there from the ministry, and I am also from the Eastern region. And Mukherjee is there. So it's a 150 crores project. So we have also appointed the CEO for that. So when the machinery, I could not visit, though I was willing to visit from the January, but this is Omicron and all. Then after that, some other busy schedule. So after my return now from Kottayam, also from the South India, I will be visiting there. I think that will be also solving to some extent some testing problems for the MSM industry, where the rubber industry will be also benefited.
Yeah. So that's good. That is a very good project that at IIT Kharagpur. Yeah?
That is a good project.
So before I end this program, I will ask you one final question to you, is that as the president of AIRA, what are your concrete or action plans that you plan to finish in your term?
Not term, it is nothing, I don't venture any plan that which I should finish in my term. This is all, it's the continuity. Now you can see the central government or the union government led by our Honorable Prime Minister is working for what will happen after 25 years. They are making a problem what will happen after 10 years. He is not sure. He has got a mandate left for 2 years only now. But still today you are making a plan for 5 years. So it is nothing. I don't see any plan or any project that how I can finish within my tenure. I want to lay the total plan or path, what association should follow. Association, that is in one word or one sentence, that is to make the ecosystem of the rubber sector to make it strong. That is, I am working on that. An ecosystem that covers everything, that covers the skill development, that covers the training, that covers the education course, that covers the supply chain, that covers the testing, that covers the machinery, that covers FTAs, that covers, government policies, so MSME policies and whatever. So we must be vigilant about all the factors affecting the rubber sector. That is whether what will be our consumption in say 20 years hence about the natural rubber, how we are planning for that, how the association is thinking, how the association is making dialogue with the rubber board, and for the other synthetic rubbers to the union government, how they can do it. So it is my one sentence is that only my plan is the ecosystem for the rubber sector should be made strong, and if we will work on it, and it's a continuous work, And if that work is successful, rubber industry or rubber sector will be there. We have also thought for some ITIs that is to be taken, to work closely with the ITIs, So in each region, one rubber center for rubber sustainability. Otherwise, you will all the time hear the word center for excellence. But now we have given the word center for rubber sustainability, because the government wants everything that we should be self-sustainable.
Yeah.
So to make the rubber sustainable, what we require. So those things will be there, also. So for that, we have identified some IIT, the Western region have already their discussion with the state government, Maharashtra government, that if they can get one IIT where they can work for Center for Rubber Sustainability. So similarly, all the centers in all the region, we want to have. And for that, we don't want to put the new establishments, but IITs are there, and government is also very eager to use the infrastructure available with the IIT, and how to, if anything has to be improved, the Ministry of Skill and Development, they are also eager. So will come some sort of solution finding, with all the manufacturers, with all the members, all the stakeholders of the rubber sector, so that if we can make the center for rubber sustainability, that is also, and to make the rubber ecosystem strong. That is the whole idea.
Super. Sir, thank you very much. You gave us very interesting input into the whole about Indian rubber industry, the challenges, opportunities, what kind of policies to be changed, and also finally you mentioned about strengthening the Indian rubber industry, not just only one segment, whole ecosystem.
Yes,
that is your
ecosystem,
agenda, whole ecosystem.
yes. Ecosystem, if you make it strong, and the challenges, our per capita rubber consumption is very less, 1 point say something, some kg, and some other countries, China, they are having more than 3 times or 2 times. Our population is growing. So even if we increase by some percentage, so what will be the requirement of the rubber goods? Rubber goods are also required for the infrastructure. They are coming, so many highways are coming. So auto industry is going to play a vital role. So all the time the auto rubber products, they are also in demand. So it is all that. So with the index of, earlier we used to say index of civilization, the per capita consumption will increase. Now it is with the infrastructure, we can tell. So as our economy, now it's a 2.5 trillion, if it goes to 5 trillion, that economy. So what will be the requirement of the rubber products? It will mind-boggling. So it's a huge opportunities there, and challenges that we will also meet through the intervention of the government, and also the positive attitude and the positivity of the manufacturer.
So the future is great for the Indian rubber industry with a lot of opportunities. Yeah.
Yes, surely.
Yes. Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, that's the end of the discussion with Dr. Savar. He shared his interesting input about Indian rubber industry. Thank you once again, Dr. Savar, for contributing this session today. Thank you. Okay, that's about Indian rubber industry outlook, opportunities and challenges. That was a discussion with Dr. Savar Dhanania. I'm hoping that you find it really useful. Okay, now we will move into the section called rubber industry education. In this rubber industry education, today we have a special session out of this one under rubber industry education, focusing on the Government Polytechnic Mumbai, and they're offering the diploma program, rubber technology diploma program. First of all, I'd like to thank Professor Sunil Srivastava. When I asked him, I would like to know about the program, what kind of things happening at the Government Polytechnic Mumbai, shortly called GPM. And he suggested, why don't we listen from alumni? And so I'm pleased to invite Mr. Karthi Shankar is actually alumni. He finished his diploma in rubber technology at Government Polytechnic Mumbai, And first, I asked him to make a presentation, his point of view about the GPM's, the Rubber Technology Diploma Program. Let's look at his program, his presentation on the Rubber Technology Diploma Program.
Good evening and warm welcome everyone. Myself Karthi Shankar, proud alumni of Government Polytechnic Mumbai, presently partner of Sarvan Carbochem LLP. I take this opportunity to thank Government Polytechnic Mumbai and our Professor Mr. Srivastava for giving me an opportunity to present diploma course in rubber technology. And I also thank Mr. Param of Technobis for this initiative. Government Polytechnic Mumbai is an autonomous institute established in 1960. GPM is visionary to take the students to compete on global level with the help of our highly qualified and experienced faculties along with excellent infrastructure. Humble beginning in 1960 at Elphinstone Tech School in Dobitala, Mumbai with 60 intake in civil engineering. Existing campus acquired in 1985. Electronics engineering and instrumentation courses were started in 1988. Mechanical in 1989, computer engineering in 1992. Diploma Rubber Technology was introduced in 1999 with the help of All India Rubber Industries Association. The Government Institute of Leather Technology was merged in the Polytechnic as a Department of Leather Technology in 2003. Government Polytechnic Mumbai vision is to transform the knowledge into work. Government Polytechnic Mumbai is committed to quality education, need-based education programs and outcome-based curriculum development. Government Polytechnic Mumbai is currently offering civil engineering, computer engineering, electrical engineering, electronics engineering, information technology, instrumentation, leather technology, mechanical engineering, science and humanities with rubber technology. Diploma in Rubber Technology is a unique course only in Maharashtra in association with All India Rubber Industries Association. This program is approved by MSBTE and DTE and also AICTE recognized. Eligibility to join Diploma in Rubber Technology is post SSC or post HSC 12th Science. Vision of Rubber Technology course in Government Polytechnic Mumbai is to promote sustainable development of students for the rubber industry. Our mission is to create a need-based curriculum and enhance the linkage between the industry and institution. Government Polytechnic remain alert to grasp modern technology through experimental learning. Government Polytechnic Mumbai intake 30 seats for the Diploma in Rubber Technology, plus 2 seats are through tuition fees waiver scheme, 8 seats are for HSC passed out. There are 6 semesters, 5 semesters in classroom teaching and 6 semesters in plant training in the industry. We have highly qualified teaching staffs and the experts from the Indian rubber industries, ultra-modern classrooms with well-equipped laboratories which we'll brief in the coming slides. Hostel accommodation are available only for boys. Scholarship for deserving candidates is available from All India Rubber Industry Association and Government of Maharashtra. First class diploma holders can join second year degree program in related field of engineering and technology as per DTE norms. Testing facilities are the key to the success of the final rubber components, and GPM is well equipped with the chemical testing and physical testing laboratory. This is our mixing and molding facility for hands-on experience on mixing of the rubber compounds and also the molding the compound. So it gives good information about how the shop floor works. Dr. Ashok Prabhu is having 40 years of experience in the rubber industry. Mr. Amit is working in Seat Tires Ambernath and has over 7 years of experience in this field. Dr. Amul Naikwadi has a teaching experience of around 4 years. Mr. Sunil Kumar Srivastava has an experience of around 36 years in the rubber industry. First semester and second semester covers the basics of any course we learn. It consists of communications, maths, physics, chemistry, and a brief introduction to polymer science. I'd say these 2 semesters are the heart of rubber technology. It covers from the mold design till the testing of rubber components, which is very critical for a product to perform in the actual field. Fifth semester covers latex technology, quality control, and also rubber product manufacturing with some insights over thermoplastic rubber and engineering plastics. Sixth semester is in-plant training in the industry. This helps the students to learn and understand and execute what they learned in the last 5 semesters. Our students are offered to train themselves in various types of the rubber industries. We are supported by tire industries, technical labs, conveyor belts, bladder manufacturing companies, rubber sheeting companies, and different kind of rubber component manufacturers. 100% placement in companies after successful completion of diploma rubber technology. Tire companies, non-tire companies, raw material manufacturers, technical lab hire our candidates after successful completion. The list of companies are just outlined here for reference. There is a good prospect after completing diploma in rubber technology. Our students either move to higher studies or work with the rubber industry or start their own business or support their family business in rubber. Thank you all for your valuable time and it was indeed pleasure presenting diploma in rubber technology course in Government Polytechnic Mumbai. Let's transform knowledge into work. Thank you.
Okay, that's a good presentation on the diploma program in the rubber technology at the Government Polytechnic Mumbai. Okay, let's welcome Mr. Karthi Shankar. He's a partner with the Sharban Carbochem. Karthi, please come forward. So welcome to the Rubber Industry News Hour. Thank you for joining.
Thank you, Mr. Peram. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thanks a lot. Actually, it's my, I usually see the presentations about their own departments, whether professors or their maybe class leader talks about their own, but it's a pretty unique to bring the alumni of the institute to come forward and talk about the, these old times, I can say, right?
Yeah, that's true because it's almost 15, 16 years now. I passed out from Government Polytechnic. So when I did the presentation, it took me back to those days. And it was a very critical learning of my career. I got to know about rubber from that institute. I learned a lot from that institute and got a chance to opportunity to work with many leading industrialists during my college days. So I thought when Mr. Srivastava asked me that whether you can do it, I said, sir, absolutely, I'll do that. And it's my privilege to do on behalf of Government Polytechnic. So that's how it came into picture.
Yeah, it is really kind, sincere thanks to Mr. Srivastava to let you do the presentation, because that's also, it's very interesting for me to host an alumni instead of a professor or a student to talk about their own departments. So you finished your program 15 years ago. Yeah, is it right?
In 2005, I've completed diploma rubber technology from Government Polytechnic. Then immediately after completion of my course, I joined Sepulchre Brothers India Private Limited in 2005 itself. I did not even wait for 1 month time. After completion, I immediately joined there.
So it's an immediate placement, so it's super. So yeah. Are you visiting on regular basis GPM?
I was
alumni get together, yeah.
Yeah, we do have a alumni meet, and I visited 2 times as an external examiner, and I was gotten opportunity to discuss with the students that time, because all this opportunity was created by Mr. Sunil Srivastava, and he told me that they must get to know the students from the Government Polytechnic where they are presently there, and they also get some feel of how this industry will be in future. Yeah. So it was a good opportunity for me to visit them and raising few questions on their external exam. So it was very nice to discuss with the people as well.
It's so nice that in alumni is actually involved. It's good for the students, and what industries you groom the students to be ready for the industry requirements. Yeah, I think
that's right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you basically from southern,
Yeah,
India.
I
Yeah,
actually,
yeah.
yeah, I completed my higher secondary in Coimbatore, Tamil Nadu. Then I got an opportunity to go to Government Polytechnic Mumbai for rubber technology. Then after completion there, I got a job in Mumbai itself. So I remained in Mumbai for 12 years.
I
Then
think
switched.
you are basically from Tamil Nadu, so I doubt your skills in Hindi language. Going into Mumbai, with everybody speaks Hindi. And Tamil Nadu, I think they have a little bit reservation about speaking Hindi. So how did you manage? When you moved to
Uh,
yeah.
no. When I went to Government Polytechnic Mumbai, I was not knowing Hindi. Obviously, I
Mhm.
was not even knowing a few words as well. So I was interacting with the students in the college in the hostel. So I used to get in touch with them, get meanings of those words. Then I started speaking a little bit. Then it's after 5 6 years time, I completely learned Hindi and started communicating with the industry people and with the shop floor workers. So I got a bit to know about Hindi language. So it was very nice learning.
So the students are from the different parts of India. So it is
Yeah,
all
it's
over
from
India.
yes, from Kashmir to Kanyakumari. So we had all type of students there, and the hostel was like fully different kind of languages. So we used to get in together with the Hindi, and we got a lot of learning during the discussion and chit chats and all. So that was good.
I think it's also nice that when you have a student from the different parts of India, you get the social togetherness, understanding, respecting each other, not just
Yeah,
only the rubber materials, but also working together as a team. So that's
yeah.
a nice environment. Yeah, is it right? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. In addition, when you are in a hostel and you have other departments also, like electronics, electrical, mechanical, rubber, like these are all linked to the rubber industry. So we even at present we are in touch with a few of our colleagues in other departments also to get some supports to complete our rubber industry fully. So that helps a lot, like interacting with the students and remain in touch with them helps a
Yeah.
lot.
And the probably now the diploma in rubber technology, BTech in rubber technology, MTech in rubber technology. As you finish diploma in rubber technology,
Yes.
how do you see the growth in in career development?
See, basically, it is the interest of the student coming out from the college, like how interested he is to explore his career. And like there are a few people try to jump from one industry to other industry to gain more knowledge, but that actually does not help. So if we can remain in industry, focus on certain product lines, and remain thoughtful on developing certain applications, etc., that helps a lot for me. So I remained in a company for almost 11 12 years. I worked with different kind of products that helped me a lot. So whenever I meet my government polytechnic students, or when I interview my own students for my company, so I tell them the same thing, that you remain in own company for work for a longer time and explore the product lines applications so that our industry can grow.
So I think so. You mean to say that it's equal opportunities whether you are in BTech or diploma or whether it's MTech. But if you focus, you grow, you learn, and the opportunities are there to grow. Is it right?
it's
Yeah.
it's it's always, you can see successful people from diploma also. You can see different application developments from the diploma holders. So it's not only with diploma we can't do anything. We can do many things. It's only a constant learning. So we have to put ourselves in the field. We try to learn many things from the experts. There are we get into touch with a lot of IIT people, and we learn a lot of things from IIT. So only through interactions we gain a lot of knowledge. They are highly knowledgeable because they exposed to a lot of industries and a lot of application developments. So we can gather knowledge from them and work on our field. That's nothing wrong in it, and we can grow even after the completion of diploma.
I think the diploma in rubber technology is a very important program for industries. Even you want a supervisor, so shop floor level, they are the ones, the right people to hire compared to and every industry runs by these, the shop floor people. Shop floor means not on labor. We're talking about supervisors, foremen, and it's a very important program. I think that for the rubber industry, for the diploma side, as a person, I work in industry. I also have a BTech, but I always look at diploma as one of the very unique programs, specialization. So yeah.
That's really true. That we get a lot of opportunities. Like we can be in a testing field, we can be in the production field, we can be in like marketing field. We can also do compounding. So it depends on the opportunity, and again, it depends on how you put yourself in that field. Like I preferred compounding. I love to do compounding. So when I got an opportunity to into marketing, so I got a lot of Indian rubber industry people who allowed me to take trials with my formulations, with my compounds. So it gives like some pleasure, like to get a lot of knowledge from the chemicals and using the compounds appropriately for developing a right product.
So when you compare your education 15 years ago and now, how much is the difference now at the GPM?
It's lot of difference, because see, before 15 years we were having very limited information about fluoroelastomers and perfluoroelastomers. It was not there. So it was like we were studying about natural rubber to the highest synthetic rubber, neoprene. We were studying only the fluoroelastomer, etc., were in the just for the sake of the polymer. So now the people are getting to know more about the synthetic elastomers, fluoroelastomers, perfluoroelastomers, peroxide pure polymers. So they get a lot of information in the current scenario, and they try like now internet is very much available, and like if they try to watch a lot of seminars, webinars coming into the online modem, it gives a lot of additional information for them to learn. So I would say it was not there for us 15 years back. There were no such seminars. We were just waiting for Indian Rubber Expo to happen and some IRI seminars to happen. So that's not there now, though. So they get a lot of opportunity to learn.
So the quality of the students for coming out from the GVM is now in a good position because they have a lot of access to the information. And
Yes,
I think the facilities wise also, you have more facilities, infrastructure, in the testing or equipment or machinery you have. Is it right? Yeah.
Yes, right. And main resource is books. Like you have a good books available in the rubber technology department right now. When we were there, there are only a few books, and that's a key books for us also, like compounding or for testing of the rubbers, polymer science, etc. But now the number of books also increased, and if the students are willing to study in the lab and get to know about the things, it's like giving them additional opportunity for learning. So I would say then new students coming out of government polytechnic, their knowledge is encouraging.
Yeah. Okay. And you yourself, you own the company Sarvan Carbochem, and you hired two students. I think some of the students are working for you as staff now.
Yes. Yeah, I already have two people in my team now. Yeah,
Okay,
they are mainly
good.
into marketing. Yeah.
Okay, super.
No, we will hire more for the down the line. We'll hire more.
Super. So they're doing well with you? Yeah.
Yeah, they are doing very well. They are doing a good job, and I'm as a alumni, or as well as I'm the development means I'm the marketing man of the company, so I give them a chance to explore their knowledge, and also I get to know from them what they want to learn from outside. So it's a equal opportunity for me and for them also to get to know more about rubber.
Yeah, super, super. So you worked for 11 years, or how many years you worked for? 11 years. You started a company. What made you
Uh,
to establish yourself? You got what's the
no,
driving force?
no. Basically, if I would have remained in Sepulchre Brothers, I would have retired from Sepulchre Brothers. I would not have jumped to any other company. But it
Sure.
was really unfortunate that they had to shut down the operations for many reasons. So I thought, and one of my colleague in Sepulchre Brothers, partner, my current partner, Mr. Jay Venkatesh, thought we put together, form a company, and try to do all those business we were doing in last 11 years. So that's how Sarvan was born. And we got a team of Sepulchre Brothers where we were there, and it started from there.
So what kind of product line you are doing? What kind of service
Uh,
products you're offering to the
at,
industry?
at At present, we represent a few overseas companies for their products for exclusive distributorship in India, and one of them is Performance Reduce Malaysia for their processing additives, and we have Thermax N990 from CanCab Limited, Canada. We
Hmm.
have mold release agents from Munchchemi International, Germany, and we
Hmm.
have silane coupling agents from Hurley Technochem, Singapore, and we have
Hmm.
a nitrile PVC from Nantex, Taiwan. So we had similar kind of products for the rubber industry. So we
So,
import it, we stock it, and we do service with the Indian rubber industry.
so you're not, are you only focused on the rubber? You also have any other profile like a plastics or coatings, any other?
I also have applications in plastics. We are developing something in coatings. We
Yeah.
explore also in thermoplastic. We also have in fluorothermoplastics and polytetrafluoroethylene market, because we had an opportunity to work for those industry also in the past. So we are trying to explore everything and remain focused on rubber. That's our majority, but still not leaving any new applications that can get into our company.
Oh, super, man, super. You are the best example of a graduate from the GPM Mumbai. Proud alumni, is it side?
No, no, there
Yeah.
are too many people from my college, and they are running their own business. Since I was available, and I thought myself can do justice to GPM, so I voluntarily asked Mr. Srivastava, I'll do it. Otherwise, some of my other friends could have joined here to do this job.
Oh man, well, it's really great to see you guys, presenting for the GPM and also doing a good, uh, how to say, good business, or continuing the, whatever you're learning, pass on the what you learn to your students again, educating them, empower them so that they're ready for the, industry. That's very, very nice of you guys, and I think the professors like Srivastava or some, Dr. Prabhu, it's a real combo, nice combo
Yeah,
with the
nice combo
alumni.
actually. Yeah, we learned a lot when, because they were in the industry, they were
Right,
facing the problems. Like
right.
they know what the problem is there currently in the molding or mixing or in the testing. So we used to get a lot of hints from them about how the issues were solved. So it was like the experienced people in the faculty helps a lot, and that too from the industry, that helps a
Mm,
lot in learning.
mm. Super, super. Well, Karthi, is nice to know about you and your experience at the GPM. Any advice to the students who are currently undergoing the diploma program in rubber technology? The
Oh,
as an
I
alumni,
just
as a businessman for rubber industry, yeah.
not advice. I feel that everyone has to create an interest in rubber, because rubber is like, it's like a resource. Like you can explore many things in rubber industry. It's rubber has no end. You can create or keep on developing new applications from the rubber. Like Technop is also some time back launched a new application development in natural rubber. You came with a seminar. So there are many new things happening across the world. We can implement it, we can learn from there, and we create new applications. So this is where our students are required in the future. Like we cannot just keep on doing molding, mixing, and testing. So one has to create some base and then come out of the industry, create some revolution in the rubber industry in the future. That it's already, many people have done it in the past. We have a lot of experts from the Indian rubber industry, but still the students, when they come out, they remain focused and think of developing some new applications and new product lines that will create a lot of help for the Indian industry also.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure that they do well, all the GPM students. It's nice to know about the GPM. I'm very much honored to host GPM program in this Rubber Industry NewsHour, and as well as you as the alumni of the GPM. Thank you for joining, Karthi, and also special thanks to Mr. Srivastav for having the GPM story in this program today. Yeah, thanks a lot.
Thank you, Mr. Puram. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Okay, so that's about the the GPM story. If you're planning to send your children or want to study rubber technology, of course, if they don't have a time for the 4 years, there's a diploma program, rubber technology diploma program at the Government Polytechnic Mumbai. I think as you see, Karthi has mentioned how he enjoyed a time even from south and moved to the Mumbai. He settled down, and now he is doing well as an entrepreneur, serving the rubber and tire industry. So it's a great story, and I wish that all the students do well in their careers and their studies as well. Thanks once again, Karthi and Mr. Srivastav, to be part of this Rubber Industry NewsHour today. Okay, that's the end of the program. If you are missing this whole event, you can always view this in our YouTube channel, Technology channel. You can check it out, the recorded version of the Rubber Industry NewsHour. Not only this episode, you can view the old episode. A lot of interesting, useful information that aimed for the rubber industry. Okay, you know how to contact me. I'm sure that most of you have my numbers on my email, so you can reach out to me. I hope to see you, and definitely looking forward to see you, welcome you in the next Monday, next episode, Rubber Industry NewsHour. Thank you all. See you next time.